Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful day in Carlsbad, as usual. And we're here with Channel 23 for the Faces of Carlsbad. And we are sponsored by Intrepid Potash, which we are very deeply in great gratitude for it. By the way, this program illustrates people you might meet, people you've never met before, people you'd like to know. And today we've got a very close friend of mine, Mr. Bill Roberts is our guest. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob. I'm delighted to be here.
And you've met our crew out there, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I've met the crew.
Yeah, well,
I've known Guy for years.
What's his name?
Guy.
Oh, Guy.
You
yeah.
haven't gotten it straight yet.
No, I haven't. He usually is a servant who does things for us here. And
Yeah.
he's very, very nice about that. But well, what we're going to do, Bill, so that people in this city will know more about Bill Roberts, want a little bit of
Do you think they want to?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your family background, your grandparents and your parents, and where you lived, and we'll start there.
Well, I didn't know my grandparents. I was the oldest of my parents, and I have a younger brother. I was born in San Jose, California.
San Jose.
Yeah.
San Francisco area.
Right. And grew up in San Francisco.
Aha.
Went to Balboa High School there, and
where was Balboa High School located in San Francisco?
it's towards the south side, more or less. It's on Ocean Avenue, which runs out to the beach.
I see.
It's one of the oldest high schools in San Francisco, and actually the prettiest.
Oh.
The least problems, at least while I was there. What kind of problems they have there now. The campus was open at that time, but now it's fenced.
I see.
It's just, the current state of affairs. Then after that, I went into the Air Force.
No, I want to get to the Air Force, but let's get back to your mom and dad for a minute. Where were they born?
My mother was born in Spokane, Washington. In fact, she was a contemporary and knew Bing Crosby.
You're kidding.
No, I am not kidding.
My goodness, Bing Crosby.
She didn't know him well. I mean, she didn't date him or anything like that, but she did know him. And Harry Lillis, really. And my father was born in South Bend, Indiana.
Oh,
and
Notre Dame area, right?
Right. And he came out to California to work in the oil fields, where he met my mother, and the two of them got married.
And you were the product of that marriage?
I was one of them. I have a younger brother. He's 2.5 years younger than I am.
Does he still live in California?
Yeah, he still lives in Napa. That's where they have the nice mental institution. And I keep accusing him of being a candidate.
Yeah. Oh, that's not nice. We won't mention that. That's the Wine Valley.
That's right, the Wine Valley. And there's a lot of very good wineries, but there's a few that I don't hanker to. I'm not an enologist, but I did learn a lot about wines. I've studied them to a degree that I can identify them and learn to appreciate good wine. Not just California wines, imported wines as well.
Just by taking one little sip? Yeah, I saw
and
that.
You don't even swallow it.
No.
You start swallowing the wine. Of course, when you're going on wine tasting, you start with the whites and work through the reds.
Right.
Rosés and then reds, because you're going from mild to more robust. And if you go the other way around, you would never taste the white wines.
Yeah. Well, I saw that on one of those television shows, Frasier, where they were sipping the wine and then they would spit it out.
Right.
Yeah. So that's...
You rinse it around in your mouth and then spit it out.
Yeah. So, well, were you ever on the Frasier show?
No.
They didn't ask you? Oh,
I didn't want to be.
Oh. Okay. You got out of high school, and then what happened?
Well, I went into the Air Force. This is in '49, before the Korean War started.
Right.
And ended up after June 30th of 1950, June 25th, I think it was, of 1950, when the North Koreans attacked South Korea. And shortly after that, I was sent over. I had been flying in B-36s in Spokane, Washington. And they shipped the whole wing but not with B-36s. He shipped them with B-29s.
B-29s.
Over
right.
to Japan. We were at Yokota, and we flew there for the duration of the war. And I picked up 3 little whacks over there.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, one on my leg and one on my knee, and another.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because some people would have thought you picked up wax.
Oh.
in the Army, you know, the ladies. We
Well,
didn't want
in
that.
the Air Force, it's WAFs.
Wow, right, okay.
It's all caught by flak.
From any aircraft
Right.
fire?
And they never shipped me back, even with the worst one, which was on this leg down here.
Yeah.
They did not send me back. They just patched me up, and when I was capable of flying again, and back I was. I brought a B-29 in, all shot up with a dead pilot, and I was radio operator.
Yeah.
Dead pilot and wounded co-pilot. He was out of it, so I got in the pilot seat, which I knew how to fly the plane because I had practiced flying it before.
Yeah.
And I got the navigator sitting in the right seat, and that's the co-pilot seat. And I brought the thing back in, not to our base, because I couldn't get us lined up on our base because of the empennage, it's a tail section. I couldn't turn the plane properly, so I was just about lined up with Itazuki, so I went there. And I landed the plane there and stopped it on the runway. I didn't bother parking it. And they had a tow truck come out and pull it in, as it was too badly shot up. And I got the DFC for that, Distinguished Flying Cross.
Well, I would say you must have been frightened to death having to do that.
No, you don't get scared when it happens. You wait until it's over. That's when you get scared.
Yeah.
You don't have time to get scared at the time. You gotta do. And you know, people see talking about getting hero medals and such as that. Anybody that goes out after that is going to get everybody killed.
Yeah.
You don't. Everything any award that you get is purely accidental. And I'm sure that just about everybody you talk to that has won any award like that will say the same thing. Yeah, I just happened to be there, and I did the right thing. It was strictly an accident.
We have a plane that I can see in the distance over there. I wonder if we could have that, the guy who does the hard work around here, what's his name again?
Guy Lutman.
Guy, oh yeah, if he'd bring that over to you.
Well, this is one of the planes that I used to fly. You know. But this is back in the States.
Thank you.
This
Thank
was
you,
back
sir.
in the
Thank you.
States. Most people had never seen one of these.
And what is that now?
This is a radar Constellation, RC-121D. I flew ones just like this. In fact, not only that, but if we look at the tail number, which is 030552, I've flown this very plane, only the real one, not the model.
Yeah.
My radio position was right here. The pilot's position is up here, and I've also flown this plane as pilot.
Pilot is always on the left, is that it?
Right, on the left. The left seat is
side.
the pilot's seat, the right seat is the co-pilot. And just behind them, on the right-hand side, is the engineer.
I see.
The navigator was back here on this side. That was where the navigator sat. While I was there, I had a standardization check as second navigator. The only thing I didn't get was celestials with the scope. I couldn't do that, so as far as I could go is second navigator.
I see.
But I also got checked out as a third pilot, that I could fly the plane. And I did do 2 landings with this.
That had to be tough training.
Oh, it was. I'm a firm believer in learning as much as I can. That's what happened to me scholastically as well as in the Air Force.
Well, Guy Lutman and I, they tried to show us how to fly these small planes down here.
Yeah?
And we were taking off one day, and we accidentally missed one of the buildings and took off the left wing. And they said, we don't need that anymore.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so our flying career ended in a hurry.
In a hurry.
That's right.
You got to know where your rudder pedals are, which can steer the nose gear,
Yeah.
and or also the brakes, which are also on the rudder pedals.
Well, you
and-
certainly had some exciting times.
Oh
over there.
yes, I remember one time with that Radar Connie, we came in for a landing. The co-pilot was landing the plane. I was in the. They had 4 airline seats, just aft of the pilot compartment, and I was sitting in the aisle seat. And as we came in for a landing, and I looked up at a porthole, which is about this big around. And I looked out there and saw approach lights. I thought, oh my God.
Oh boy.
I had pictures of us cartwheeling down that runway. They brought it back and landed and bounced up and came down on the right main and the nose gear at the same time. The nose gear is not built to take landing shock.
No,
It held up to it though, this particular time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust it again. And brought it in for a landing. And like they say, any landing you walk away from is a good landing. So that was a good landing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well then, when did you give up your flying career?
I was officially assigned as a radio operator, and they started getting rid of radio operators for special equipment that the pilots could handle.
I see.
So they transformed me into data processing, which was initially the punch card counting machines, which I learned those well. And then within a year, they transferred me into computer programming, into which I stayed for the rest of my career until I got too old to do it, or too expensive is what the word is.
Too expensive. Yeah, that's fine.
I acquired in the process a doctorate in computer science, and I taught for a while at UC Berkeley until I got fed up with that.
Yeah.
I told the president my dog was more qualified to be in the class than some of those students.
Oh,
I'm not joking.
Oh my
they were State Department of Rehabilitation, had no business being there. And I just got fed up with it. So I went back to programming and systems analysis. I wrote a book. It's for corporations. It's not for individuals.
I see.
It was structured analysis and programming for special services.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know
And
that.
it was a very structured way to do it, and it saved companies that used it millions in programming. Because before, they would write all the programs for a system, get it all done, it'd take them a year or two, and then they went to install it, and the users said, oh no, that's not what we wanted. You had to go back to the beginning. This cost millions of dollars to do this.
Oh my gosh.
So my system, it stepped all the way through, write-offs all the way through, and is all of the information and documentation could be done online, and it saved essentially millions of dollars.
That's what got you interested in computers, I suppose.
Well, no, I got interested in computers before that.
Oh, before that.
I really enjoyed making that stupid monster do what I told it to do. I mean, it did exactly what I told it to do. If I told it wrong, it did it wrong.
Ah, okay.
See, that's where many people have made the statement, oh, the computer made a mistake. No, no computer ever made a mistake. The programmer made the mistake, or the systems analyst that designed the system made the mistake. But the computer did exactly what it was told to do.
Well, as I'm thinking now, when I met you, I found out that you're also very interested in model railroading.
Oh yeah, I got into that. Oh, how long ago? 40 years ago
40
or more?
years ago.
Yeah.
What got you interested in railroading?
Well, I got a train set, and I started messing around with it, and I started talking to other people that were in the hobby, and ended up joining the National Model Railroad Association. And in the process, I started learning.
Yeah.
And this was out in California. I started out in the Pacific Coast region, and in the Redwood Empire Division, which is north of San Francisco. In fact, from the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge all the way to the Oregon border.
Oh my gosh.
And east to the Central Valley, the Sacramento Valley.
Well, you know, my partner Guy is interested in trains too, and he's got something he would like to show you that he put together.
He
There we are,
did.
sir.
You-
I think
you-
your phone's ringing. This is a live show, Bill.
Yeah.
There's a train leaving in 10 minutes. Be on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to answer your phone, Bill? Because we're on Channel 23. We want to tell people that this is such a, sort of a regular show. If
Yeah,
it's
we
your mother,
wanna-
then tell her to call back. Sorry about this, folks. You okay?
Did it.
Carry on, sir.
Okay, thank you. This is a beautiful, locomotive, and you told me that it's part of the Cumberson Toltec
Yeah.
now. It used to be
See,
the
with the
Colorado-
tender, you can see the name on here, Cumberson Toltec.
Yes.
Its nickname was a mud hen. It's really a 282 Mikado.
Now
There
for
were a
those
lot of these
people-
K27s.
For those people who don't know what a 282 is, I know because
Yeah.
my dad was a railroader. But
Yeah.
explain that.
282 means it has 2 wheels for a pilot truck, 8 wheels for drivers, and 2 wheels for the trailing truck.
I see.
The trailing truck is added to support the firebox, which is in here. The pilot truck is used to negotiate curves. It brings them around the curves, eat more readily and more safely.
Ah, yeah.
There's several domes on here, which a lot of people, they've seen the domes, but what are they? This is the sand dome. It gets filled with sand. There's the piping here that runs down to the wheels to blow sand onto the tracks in case they need the traction.
Right.
This is the steam dome in which the power is regulated. And the bell at this point here.
Yeah.
The cab where the engineer sits on the right-hand side, the fireman on the left-hand side. I've never fired one of these, but I've fired other steam locomotives and sitting on the left-hand side.
Similar.
I've never been the engineer yet.
You're planning to be an engineer or something?
No, I'm not planning on it.
Oh, okay.
It takes a lot of study and learning how. And
Well, Guy did a nice job building that, didn't he?
yeah, he did.
Unbelievable. Guy, he's very talented that way.
It's a beautiful model.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Right.
Anyway, my dad was a railroader, and I can remember we lived probably 100 yards from the tracks, and the steam locomotives would be coming up, and the Pacific passenger locomotives would be pulling the passenger trains. And I always listened to it, and I loved to hear them.
Yeah.
And then one day, all of a sudden, I heard this strange sound. And what's going on the railroad? And here it was their first diesel that they ever owned.
Right.
And
Makes an entirely different sound.
Oh boy, I'll say it did. It was
It
unbelievable.
growls instead of chuffs.
Well, how many years now? You know, when people go to the mall in Carlsbad, every holiday season,
Right.
they see you in there with your crew, and one of the
Well,
most.
it's not my crew per
Well,
se.
I call it.
I'm just the secretary of the club.
Yeah.
The president is there too. And
But what I'm amazed at is the beauty of that railroad system that you guys have put up. It's absolutely unbelievable.
well, thank you. We work on it all the time. We're working on it now.
Yeah.
We have redone the tracks. We've redone the scenery on a lot of it. Improved it, made it look better. Those that have seen the layout will probably remember the desert scene where there's a traffic accident.
And that's one that impresses me the most. That is so well done.
It took me 3 years to get that thing designed.
Is that right?
I kept moving them around individually. I kept them loose, moving them around. No, I don't like it that way. Change it. I finally found a way that I liked, and I glued them into position so they stayed that way. I've had firemen and police that come by and see. That's the way we see them.
That's fantastic. By the way, you're married to a very lovely lady, Irene.
Right.
And
She's up at the park right now.
Oh, she's at the park. She's
That's
so
zoo
busy.
camp.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, zoo
Yeah.
camp. The interesting thing about Irene, though, she seems to always be there helping every time you have that. And they're so happy to hear us.
Right.
They're giving us a little honk here. Isn't that nice?
And she was in the car and did it.
Oh, well, that's interesting. we always love to hear those sounds.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's always there helping, and every year you give away a lottery ticket. You
Right.
purchase
No,
a
we
lot-
don't give them. We
no,
sell them.
You sell them. Well, but somebody wins one,
Right.
and I think that's so nice.
Frequently it's somebody in Carlsbad, because most of the tickets are bought from people in Carlsbad.
Yeah, yeah.
But one we won, that one was in Kansas someplace. I don't remember the town, but we shipped it to them.
Oh, did you ever hear from them again?
Oh yeah, they thanked us.
Oh, that was nice.
But we enjoy setting it up. It's a lot of work, and we always need new members to help.
How many members do you have right now?
Right at the moment, it's 15.
15?
I
That's up a
can
little-
say with accuracy, because I'm the secretary and I have the roster.
Aha. Well, that seems to be a little bigger than it was there a while back.
Yeah,
So you gained some. That's good. You're getting some young people.
we have
involved.
gotten some new members.
Yeah.
One of them is a fellow that has been here from Germany. He was over at Alamogordo flying with the Luftwaffe, and he retired here and is living in Carlsbad, and he is attempting to acquire a building and the financial support to build a O-scale layout.
Oh. Now,
And,
for those
but-
people who don't know the difference, O scales are much bigger than the HO scales.
Right, it's
correct?
twice the size of HO.
Twice the size.
The one that I showed you is O-scale.
Yes.
HO is half that size. That's what HO stands for, half O.
And then that's set up at the mall every Christmas. That's HO.
HO.
Yeah.
And we, like I say, we enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it. Some people find it a lot of work. It is work. You get tired after a while. It would be better if we had more members to operate. And we always welcome new members. Anybody that wants to learn this hobby, I'm willing to teach. Our Dennis Call, who's our president, will teach.
Yeah.
We do a lot of clinics on how to do this. We are currently working on an N-scale layout, which we're going to be operating at our club meetings, which is second and fourth Fridays of every month.
Now an N scale is in.
Half the size of HO.
Oh, so even smaller.
Right. HO is 187th, and N-scale is 165th.
Well, that setup you had in the mall this year, and I think last year also, was placed in a room by itself.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, we enjoyed being in there.
Oh,
Because they had it free at the time. I'm hoping that we can get it. I've been talking to Janie Balzano about this, and she said they have somebody wants to go in there, but they're working on contracts and things like that. So it's possible that we won't be able to get in there.
Oh dear, I hope.
So we'll have to figure out someplace else in the mall, which we used to be in the mall. One nice thing about being in that room, we didn't have to take everything off the layout. We could just leave everything on there. But out in the mall, we have to remove it all
Yeah.
for security purposes.
Well, what's the future for Bill now?
The future for Bill is,
Yeah.
well, I'm involved in many things. There's that. I'm also in the Gem and Mineral Club.
Oh, you are?
Right.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of things you don't know.
I know it.
You get better pay attention. I ask questions.
I'll go along with that. Okay.
I also like to garden, although I didn't put one in this year because of health. I didn't get a chance to. But normally I do. I do a lot of cooking. And
Yes, I know. We've sampled your cooking. You are a chef extraordinaire.
Thank you. Well, I wouldn't
Oh.
say that, but
I would.
I'm a good cook.
You are a good cook.
And I enjoy doing that for family and friends. I could never do it for a living. That's just something I could never fathom.
Well, I think you're a good cook, and I've tasted your food. My wife and I have gone over there numerous times, and Irene is pretty good at that too, isn't she?
Yeah.
So you make a good
She
duo.
can't work with the seafood like I do,
No, that's true.
and that's what you prefer.
Oh yes. being a vegetarian,
Right.
I'll eat the fish and the vegetables, but Luanda says the beef is good too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is. But I'm in the Cowboy Action Shooting, Single Action Shooting Society. You wear guns from the Old West, and you have to dress up like the Old West.
Well, I understand that you were out in the valley out here a couple of months ago, and Guy Lutman was coming through on a horse with his cowboy hat on.
That's right.
And somebody accidentally shot his hat off.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was because I wasn't there.
You weren't there for
No.
that. Hey, look it! My golly, look at that! I love it. See, that's what I tell you. You never know what's going to happen. Well, anyway, Bill, I want to thank you for being our guest today. It's been a real pleasure.
I'm glad to be here.
My golly, I've learned so much about Bill. It's unbelievable.
I thought you knew all of that.
I did. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Channel 23 and Intrepid Potash, goodbye and good luck. Bill, thanks for being here.